How did one man, born into a life of hardship on the vast, unforgiving steppes of Mongolia, go on to build the largest contiguous land empire in human history? This isn't just a story of conquest, it's the story of how Genghis Khan, against all odds, fundamentally changed the world. Let's travel back to the 12th century. The world was a patchwork of disconnected civilizations. The Silk Road, once a vibrant artery of trade, had fallen into disrepair, plagued by bandits and warring tribes. Europe was just emerging from the Dark Ages. The Islamic world was a beacon of science and culture, and China was divided and powerful. In this world, a boy named Temujin was born. His early life was brutal. His father was poisoned, his family was cast out by their own tribe, and he was forced to survive in a world where the only law was the strength of your sword arm. But Temujin was different. He wasn't just a survivor, he was a unifier. Through sheer force of will, brilliant military tactics, and an unmatched ability to inspire loyalty, he brought the scattered, warring Mongol tribes together under a single banner. In 1206, he was proclaimed Genghis Khan, the universal ruler, and this is where the world began to shift. Many people think of the Mongols as just brutal conquerors. And while their campaigns were undeniably destructive, that's only half the story. What Genghis Khan and his successors created was something unprecedented. A Pax Mongolica, a Mongol peace. For the first time in centuries, a vast stretch of Asia, from the Pacific Ocean to the doorstep of Europe, was united under one rule. What did this mean in practice? It meant the Silk Road wasn't just reopened, it was supercharged. Genghis Khan understood the power of trade. He established a system of protected trade routes, complete with postal stations called Yam, where merchants could rest, get fresh horses, and travel in safety. Imagine a medieval version of a highway rest stop system, but spanning an entire continent. This security allowed goods, ideas, and technologies to flow like never before. Gunpowder, the compass, and printing technology, all from China, made their way to Europe, setting the stage for the Renaissance and the Age of Discovery. It's no exaggeration to say that Marco Polo's famous journey would have been impossible without the Mongol Empire ensuring his safe passage. Genghis Khan was also a revolutionary administrator. He established one of the first international postal systems. His messengers, carrying a pesa, or passport, could travel across the empire at incredible speeds, ensuring rapid communication across thousands of miles. This wasn't just for military orders, it was for governing a massive, diverse empire. He also established a written legal code called the Yasa. While its exact contents are debated, promoted principles that were radical for their time: religious tolerance, the rule of law, and a ban on kidnapping and selling women. In the Mongol Empire, you could be a Christian, a Muslim, or a Buddhist, and as long as you obeyed the law and paid your taxes, you were protected. This was unheard of in much of the world at the time. His military genius is, of course, legendary. The Mongol army was a marvel of organization, discipline, and mobility. Using a decimal system, he organized his warriors into units of 10, 100, 1,000, and 10,000, creating a clear chain of command. They were masters of psychological warfare, often using rumors and fear to make cities surrender without a fight. Their tactics, like the famed retreat, outsmarted larger, more heavily armored armies time and time again. They were not just a horde. They were a sophisticated, disciplined fighting force that valued merit over aristocracy. A common shepherd could rise to become a great general if he proved his skill and loyalty. This meritocracy was a key ingredient to their success. The Mongol conquests also redrew the map of the world. Literally, they toppled old dynasties and created new political realities. In Russia, their rule, known as the Golden Horde, isolated the region from Western Europe for centuries, but also inadvertently contributed to the rise of Moscow as a central power. In the Middle East, their sack of Baghdad in 1258 ended the Islamic Golden Age's Abbasid Caliphate, a devastating blow from which the city never fully recovered. In China, his grandson, Kublai Khan, established the Yuan dynasty, uniting North and South China for the first time in centuries. But let's look at the less obvious long-term impacts. The Mongol Empire created a massive, interconnected world. Its new global network wasn't just about silks and spices, it was about knowledge transfer. Persian astronomers worked in China, Chinese doctors practiced in the Middle East. It was a period of incredible cross-cultural exchange. Even European art was influenced, with Mongol and Chinese patterns appearing in Italian paintings. Of course, we can't ignore the dark side of this story. The Mongol invasions were incredibly violent, and the death toll was immense. Entire cities were wiped off the map. same interconnectedness that facilitated trade also, tragically, facilitated the spread of the Black Death. The bubonic plague, likely originating in Central Asia, traveled along the Mongol trade routes, eventually reaching Europe and killing a third of its population. It's a stark reminder that globalization has always had its perils. So, when we ask why Genghis Khan changed the world, the answer is complex. He was both a destroyer and a creator. He unleashed unimaginable violence, yet he also established a peace that connected civilizations in ways they had never been before. He tore down old worlds and, in their place, laid the foundations for a new one. The empire he forged was a bridge for goods, for ideas, for people, and even for disease. It was a bridge that connected East and West, forever altering the course of history for both. From the paper money in your wallet to the political borders on a modern map, the legacy of the boy named Temujin, who became the Great Khan, is still with us today. His story is a powerful testament to how a single individual's vision, for better or worse, can reshape the entire globe. Thanks for watching. If you found this journey into the past as fascinating as I did, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you don't miss our next deep dive into history. See you next time.